What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Bazz, man. This episode, man, we're going to be talking about, man, how do you step up in your community, man? And it's just stepping up in different ways, man. You know, it's your boy Bazz, man. You know, I currently serve on a board. Just due to, certain obligations and things like that, I ain't going to go too much into detail, man. But I serve on the board of the Harrison Neighborhood and Association, man. I'm part of that executive board team as well. And it just really just going more in depth into that, man. It's like crazy, man, joining the board at 25, man. And what kind of inspired me to do such was just, man, I was tired of, like, basically never really having no input. Like, you feel me? We always talk about, man, we the voice of the culture, man, we the voice of the community. But it's like, I really want to live and embody that. Not I want to live, I actually live and embody that. You feel me? I feel like it's not just a company or a brand or a service. It's a way of life. You feel me? It's an ideology. It's a way of living. So which means it's like bringing the voice, being the voice of the community, being the voice of the things you do, sharing light on things, situations that people normally don't share light on. And one of the things with that was just calling me to be kind of more hands-on, be more in depth with it. And what I mean by being more hands-on as well is like being actually getting involved with the community engagement. Not just saying, claiming a block, saying I know everybody on the block. But what does that do for the block? You feel me? Like, I know back in the day they used to talk about, man, like, so you want to be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala. You feel me? But only reason why I'm saying that is like, you feel me? It's like we in a day and age where it should be enough awareness of you to realize that like there are certain positions, certain ways that you can really make a difference in your community. I respect those that are on the block that calling them shots. That's really, lacing up their boots and being in the trenches with it. But we also need those individuals to be in the office, to be in these meetings, to be in these, to be part of these conversations that's going on about your community, man. You feel me? Like, y'all don't realize everybody talk about gentrification. We talk about renters accessibility. We also talk about being able to provide resources to the community, being able to control the narrative that's being spoken within our communities. These things starts at these meetings, you feel me, at these community levels, you feel me, these community organizations, man. Like Harrison, for one, just being at Harrison, understanding the value that comes with these community meetings, what comes with these meetings that we have about the community. You feel me? I just just starting out. One of the first things I noticed, you feel me, is not that much of the community that's involved in these conversations. And what I mean by that is like not saying, not knocking the organization, just saying just the community as a such. Our want, our desire, our will to be like, hey, this is my community. I'm going to speak up and I'm going to speak out. I feel like over time, just due to the culture and just how things have maneuvered in America, especially when you talking about inner city communities, black communities, ethnic communities of color, you start to notice basically is there's not too much faith within the system or within other people being able to advocate or advocacy. You feel me? Nobody believes that, you feel me, their voice is going to be heard, that their voice is going to make a difference. If I speak out, if I come to these meetings, I speak out about these topics, nobody's going to hear me. So, I take it upon myself, especially with saying ends, and that's what I mean by this. But saying ends, saying being the voice of the culture, being the voice of the community, is really embodying that and really listening to these stories and really just taking it upon myself to actually trying to do something about it, man. You feel me? Because that's all thing that we really can do is try to put forth the effort to do something about it, to say, hey, I fought this fight with you. I'm in the trenches with you. I'm in the community with you. This is my community just as much as your community. You feel me? A lot of times, you feel me, we don't do that. We kind of just, we voice our opinion, but we don't actually come up and be part of the conversation that comes up with the plan. Like neighborhood planning, community planning. That's what I mean by this, you feel me? Being part of those conversations to help come up with the plans, you feel me? Not just critiquing it, but actually helping, come up with the plans, you feel me, serving a role within the community. Help get out there and like really meet your neighbor. You feel me? Meet some of these neighborhood businesses and build and establish relationships. Let them, and basically, man, making sure your voice don't go unheard, because if they try to silence you, they can try, but they can't necessarily really silence you, man. It's like numbers is powerful, man. If numbers show up at these events and at these meetings, man, y'all be able to really start getting them better turnout. It's like, man, force individuals to hear about you, man. No matter if it's the school, these school board meetings, man. It's like you'll never really hear too much from the parents unless they're talking about closing the school or something like that. You feel me? What about before they even get to the point of closing the school? What about going up to the school, looking around and be like, hey, going there, voicing your opinion. Why don't these schools have certain resources? You feel me? Why isn't there more funding into after-school programs? Coming up to community centers, seeing how can they get better involved in helping your kid academically, or how can they get better involved in helping you, residence assistance and things of that nature. Seeing if them resources are already available, because sometimes the resources are available. It's just that it's bridging that gap of just connecting the resources to the community. And that's what a lot of these organizations' purpose and mission is to do. But it's just bridging that gap. But I feel like a lot of it starts with the mindset of the community, just us as a community, just being more involved. Stop looking at everything like I got to get paid for my time, because in some type of form of fashion, you are getting paid. Your livelihood, the community that your kids grow up in. If you don't like the bus stops and things of that nature that your kids, that you got to stand at when it's time to go to work and, and it's time to go to school, come to these meetings and speak up about that. A lot of times we feel like we are silencing ourselves. And that's the one thing about ends, man, I always speak about, man, I always preach about, man, is, man, we are the voice of the culture, man. Our voice is strength in numbers, man. It's strength in our voice, man. The only time they can really take away the strength is when we choose to silence ourselves. So, man, like, embarking on that journey early on, like, I'm saying, like, man, it's people that's doing out there that's younger than me, man. I commend y'all, man. But I'm only number 25, man. I mean, 26 now. I started out when I was 25. But now I'm learning and I'm growing, and it's shaping me and it's shaping my understanding. It's also teaching me different principles and things like that, man. Like, understanding that it's a structure and there's a way that things work. Understanding the system that I'm in. You feel me? Understanding the system that we live in, that's part of our culture. Like, we might hate the system, but in order to make change, you gotta understand the system that you in, and bring forth a system that's better, or bring forth innovative ideas to tweak the system that it can work in our favor. You feel me? Like, understanding that, it's like everybody hate the system, but don't nobody want to give us no idea, no energy that can help us change it. Shit. You feel me? You don't like the way the police are policing the community. Well, how do we police the police? Coming up with those type of scenarios. How do we police the community so we don't need as much police presence? You feel me? Like, coming up with those systems instead of just saying it, coming up with an actual plan. That's what these meetings serve. You feel me? They give you a voice. If you got an actual plan that you probably be thinking like, man, I feel like this would be a great idea, man. I feel like we should have, peace stops where basically we got it's parents or, anybody, you feel me? They post up at the bus stops. You already there waiting on your kids. Well, how about you feel me? You be an advocate for all the kids. Like a chauffeur. Like, you just sit at the bus stop. You chill for a certain time period. You feel me? It's community parents that wrote. You feel me? These are the type of ideas that we can share. Now that we can see, like, what do it take to make these happen? Are there resources? Is there a way that we can bring this idea to light? Is this other like-minded individuals that are willing to, willing to come together and embark on this journey with you? Shoot, even if you're willing to do it yourself, like, shit, I stand out there for an hour every morning anyway for my own kids. I want to stand out there an hour for all the kids at the bus stop. Maybe even an hour and a half. Y'all bring me some coffee. I'll stand out there an hour and a half and make sure that our kids are getting onto the buses safe in the morning time. Like, things like that, man. Let's come together, man. Let's really start building the community. But it starts with you being able to empower your own voice, which means, like, you got to find it in yourself, find the power, Find the power, find the strength, and find your voice to start speaking up and being more involved in your community. Because if you're waiting on the government, if you're waiting on somebody to save you, stop waiting on somebody to save you. You feel me? You start putting forth that energy. And then God, you feel me, if God willing, you feel me, he'll put that the extra umph behind you. You feel me? By you embarking on that journey your damn self. You feel me? But it's your boy Bazz. Man, we talking about the community, man. We talking about getting more involved. Man, we just talking about, man, stepping up and stepping out, man. You feel me? Start getting involved in your community organizations, man. I'm doing it myself, man. I'm only 26, and I'm currently serving the Harrison community, part of the Harrison neighborhood organization, man. And we just trying to do big things, man. We trying to protect, preserve, and grow the community, man. It's your boy Bazz. Y'all tuned in, man, but I'm tuning out. Ian's podcast, man. We the voice of the culture. Leave us a voice message, man, a comment, man. Your opinion, man. How you feel about this, man? And if it's any youth organizers, community organizers, man, program managers, anything like that, man, holla at your guala, man. We want to get your voice on here, man. For real, man. Let the world know about the resources that you have to offer, and let the world know about your journey, man. Why it's important that you do the work that you do. It's your boy Bazz, and I'm tuning out. Thank you for tuning in.